on a show filled with absolute squash matches and jobbers. Like that's what this whole show is filled with.
Sure,
Who
sure,
is
sure.
your, let's say, top three or however many you can name jobbers of all time? Because we know there've been some absolute classic jobbers over the years, some
Yeah.
iconic jobbers that have arguably made more of an impact than some of the wrestlers, the real wrestlers. I say this like jobbers on real wrestlers,
Hmm.
but they've made
Sure,
more of
sure,
an
sure.
impact than some of the other people over the years. So who would you put in that list?
Well, the first one that I got to go for is L.A. Gore, and if you don't know what he looks like, you got to Google him. L.A. Gore looks like Diamond Dallas Page
Yeah,
if you bought him off Tibu. Like that's the best way I could describe him. Like
L.A.
it's
Gore,
the block L.A. Gore wrestler.
like
L.A.
gore
Gore
as
like
in
enhancement talent.
rhino's gore.
Like yeah, Gore. Take a little gander at
I
him.
have to
Hopefully
see this. I'll
for
put
the
it up on the
listeners, maybe
podcast as well.
you
Yeah.
can put it up. Yeah. So L.A. Gore, he was in like two or three matches
Oh my gosh.
on Raw. You
Yeah.
see what I mean?
Yeah.
DDP of Timu, right?
Literally, but early DDP, like manager
Yeah, yeah.
DDP.
Yes, manager DDP,
Yeah.
exactly. But he's quite an interesting case because a lot of these enhancement talent they kind of stick around for a very long time and they
Mm-hmm.
have quite like storied careers outside of like their enhancement talent duty. He did these two matches and then just disappeared. Like no one knows what happened to him. And he's like a mystery where like anyone who does these kinds of retrospectives,
Yeah.
they're all like, what happened to this guy? Like, where is he? Like, what is the deal with this? He's like a big mystery. So LA Gore is definitely up there just because I'm a huge Diamond Dallas Page fan and he just makes me laugh every time. Number two has got to be you might know him as ah ah ah, and that's him walking to the ring.
I have
I'm
no
Mike
idea.
Sharp, baby.
Oh, okay.
I
We
am
saw him
Mike
recently. I
Sharp,
think it was on the
baby.
last episode, actually.
He's going to be in the Battle Royal tonight.
Oh, okay. That's where he is. Great.
Uh-huh. He looks like David Hasselhoff after Baywatch. I'll let you fill in the gaps
How long
there.
after Baywatch?
Like he's at the fan convention,
Oh,
and
okay, okay,
someone will be
okay.
like, are you oh
With like
like that kind of
three people in the line to meet him. That era of David Hasselhoff.
that kind
Okay,
of area, yeah. Like
okay,
it was before he was in the SpongeBob movie and kind of reclaimed it all.
okay.
So I Mike Sharp's definitely up there. If you ever want to see something ridiculous, Brian Zane, the fantastic Brian Zane on Wrestling with Regret, did a retrospective on an event called Macavia Mania, which is
Okay.
essentially like a kid's bar mitzvah that was a wrestling show. And Iron Mike Sharp is one of the key players in that show, and it's hysterical.
Why do I need to see this show now?
No, no, no! Don't watch the show. Watch Brian Zane's like retrospective on the show because at
Okay.
least you get like the witty repartee of Brian Zane.
Okay.
So I Mike Sharp's definitely going to be up there, and then the final one that I mean I feel like it's disrespectful not to say Blue Pants. Like
Who the
that's
hell is
just
Blue Pants?
I don't know her name, but she was this female wrestler. Enzo Amore forgot her name and just called her Blue Pants, and she ran with that as her gimmick.
I need to see who this Blue Pants person is.
Google Blue Pants wrestler.
Oh my gosh, she even named herself Blue Pants.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
What's her real name? What's her real name? Just so that I can feel better.
Leva Bates. She was in
Leva
AEW.
Bates. Leva Bates. She used to be the librarian, right?
Is that her?
Leva Bates.
Oh,
I think it's the same person. Yeah.
Blue Pants. Wow. Well done, Enzo Amore. You just created a whole. Why does Jay Uso pop up when I search Blue Pants WWE?
I mean, maybe he wears blue pants. I don't
He
know.
does, but
But
still.
it just like shows you how powerful like one promo can kind of be to someone else's career.
Yeah.
Like I'm a big Piper Niven fan. Like especially if you saw her as like Viper Niven back in in the UK
Like the
scene
ICW
and back in
days, and
Japan.
yeah.
Yeah, ICW and what's it Stardom like when she was killing it in Japan and Scotland.
Yeah.
Eva Marie forgets her line, calls her Dewdrop. That was her name for 2 years.
Wait, I wasn't really watching at that time. Is that how she got Dewdrop?
Hmm. Even Marie came back. She called her Dewdrop either by mistake or because Vince was like, wouldn't it be funny? That was a woman's name for 2 years. Imagine you're Piper Niven, all the talent in the world, good promo, good look, good worker, and now you gotta come to work, put a smile on your face, and call yourself Dewdrop.
That's
What
just
the?
sad. Okay,
I can't deal with this.
let me give my 3 jobbers, and I think mine are probably a lot more mainstream than yours are. Like, a lot more.
Let's hear
Okay.
it.
Number
Let's
one,
hear
which
it.
I think is. No, I'll skip him. I'll talk about him last. So I'm going to say James Ellsworth firstly. Why? I don't know why. I
Oh,
absolutely found him
oh.
hilarious when he almost beat AJ Styles. No, he did beat AJ Styles. He actually did beat him.
Uh-huh.
But when he almost
Yeah.
won the WWE Championship, I don't know why. I just found him funny, and especially stuff with Carmella later on. It's just
I was
hilarious.
about to say the only thing that I liked about him was that he stood next to Carmella. That's like the only
I
time
don't
that I
know
was
why.
like,
I thought he
okay,
was kind of
fine.
good. He had the look, the terrible look. He had it.
He had the look. What
he
was the look?
the fact that he looked how he looked, that was the look. Like, I don't know how to describe his look.
Ugh.
It's like meth head on the side of the street. He had that
Yeah,
look. Yeah.
he did.
Then
He did.
the second one, I don't know if you can classify him as a jobber though, but it's Spike Dudley.
Uh-oh.
Is he a jobber?
No, come on.
No, but
Former cruiserweight
he
champion,
he got
former tag
he
team
got messed
champion.
up though. Like, he got
Yeah,
jobbed a
but
lot.
yeah, but I would say that an enhancement talent is put there for the sole intention of putting someone else over.
Okay,
Spike Dudley got over as a
you're
result
not
of that.
wrong.
Like I heard
You're not wrong.
a friend of mine said something the other day that I loved, which he said, I never understood the whole hype with Darby Allin. He's just goth Spike Dudley. And I'm like, oh my God, like
He's not
kind
wrong.
of
He can
like
wrestle better, but you're not wrong.
Spike was underrated, man. I think a lot of
Nah,
people forget
Darby's a
how
better
good he
wrestler though.
actually was. Oh, no, no, sure, sure. Darby's
Yeah,
a better wrestler than most people.
yeah.
But don't underplay Spike Dudley. The guy was
Okay,
good. He was
okay.
really
Well,
good.
yeah.
And an English major, which was really interesting. He was an English major who majored in Shakespeare. One of my favorite Spike Dudley moments was if you watch the Beyond the Mat documentary, one of the first scenes of Blaustein interviewing wrestlers at ECW. Spike Dudley has just taken a massive chair to the side of the head and he's just bleeding profusely. And he gives a sonnet from one of the Shakespearean plays directly to camera. It's one of the coolest like scenes you'll ever see. I highly recommend it. I
That
will always stand with
sounds like
Spike
Spike
Dudley. He was a
Dudley.
cool guy.
Okay.
Yeah, he
Well,
was dope, man.
Kane was
Now he's a
also
mortgage broker.
an English major of some sort.
I can believe that. He's a
Glenn.
smart guy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, uh,
Glenn Jacobs. Yeah.
just let's
No, he's a
just not
smart guy. I
just
disagree
don't
with
look at his politics.
I,
But yeah,
I disagree with his politics, but he's a smart guy. You know, like
yeah.
I'm not the mayor of a town.
Did you
He clearly knows
see
something I don't.
Undertaker calling out Batista and Kamala Harris and all of those people?
Yeah. I think
It's hilarious.
I think that I love it when people are like surprised at wrestlers like sort of political allegiances. To which my thing is like always, you've never been in a wrestling locker room. Like
Yeah,
especially
wrestlers
in
aren't
South
the most
Africa,
um. What's the word?
PC people on the planet.
Yeah, yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
They are definitely not.
Like I think that and this is not a political thing, like vote for who you want to vote for. I
I
don't
don't
give
give
a
a
damn. The
shit.
planet's ending anyway.
Exactly.
Like I don't care. The planet's ending anyway. Who cares? But just to give you like some perspective, there were three kind of liberals in the wrestling federation that I used to wrestle with. It was me and the two black guys. Coincidence? I think not.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm gonna. And that's all I'm
My
gonna say on the matter.
my short time in a wrestling locker room showed a lot to me on what type of people are wrestlers. Put it that way.
Yeah, it's
Put it
not
that way.
always.
There's
It's
one
not. It's not
specific
always the
moment
best.
that pops up in my head, but I'm not gonna repeat it at all. But
No,
yeah,
no. I'm sure we signed some sort of document.
you were there as
for
well.
this.
Just saying. But
Yeah.
okay. So then my last jobber is gonna be one that I don't know if he's still around at this point in 1993. I almost think he is, but it has to be the Brooklyn Brawler. Like it
Yeah,
has to be.
the king of the jobbers, man.
Exactly.
King of the
That's a
jobbers.
pretty
Yeah.
obvious one, but he has to be on the list. Okay.
There's a story that I love about him where apparently he was never like really booked per se. What he would do is he got the schedule from one of the road agents. At this point, it was probably like, God, I'm trying to think of who would it be back then. Probably Patterson. And he would get like the road schedule and he would just show up with his gear at any time that they were in and say, I'm here if you need me.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much
And then
how
he
he
was
got
used.
booked every time because sooner or later they needed him.
You mentioned
speaking of,
you mentioned Pat Patterson.
Yeah.
I can't hear his
Mm.
name without thinking of Tony Atlas now after the Vince McMahon documentary.
Yeah, how about that, huh?
Interesting. Let's move on swiftly.
Please.